just be kind to people, especially if that person decides that they want to share that moment with you. Welcome back. We are on the couch. I am Harris on the mic, and this is Mr. Miguel Sierra. How you doing today, bro?
Chilling.
I just want to say thank you for doing this with me.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. So why don't you tell the people about yourself? Like, tell us a little bit about Miguel.
I would like to say that, I'm 6'7", hazel eyes, you know what I'm saying? Enjoy long walks on the beach.
What's your sign?
Things like that. Capricorn, of course.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Alpha and Omega, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But for real, I'm a suicide prevention program manager. I work for the United States Army in Fort Meade. Retired Army veteran. What else about me? Basketball player. I like to lift weights.
Okay.
I hate running, but I do it a little bit. I mean, I know it don't show, but
I did like FaceTime you by accident. You were like working out.
You did.
I was like, all right, well, we're here. We might as well just talk business.
I picked up. I thought it was important. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I appreciate that. Let me ask you this: if your life was a headline, so let's just say like past 6 weeks, past week, or just like anything. If your life right now today was a headline, what would it be?
A headline, mad complex.
Mad complex.
Yeah.
Period. That's it.
Period. That's it.
If I had to choose one, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. I'm in that uncomfortable place of transition.
Okay.
But I know, like, I can feel like it's for my good. So
that's where growth happens, baby.
That's what, exactly. And I'm for it. I'll be here. My bank account is just waiting. I'm just waiting on the opportunity. So you say you are a suicide prevention
program manager,
advocate. Okay, how did you get into that?
Well, I stumbled on it by chance, actually, when I was in the military. But my job was behavioral health. I was a behavioral health specialist. And one time, the suicide prevention manager at Fort Belvoir, where I was stationed at, asked me to teach a class. I did the class. I was a young soldier, but it felt very natural for me. You know, mainly because of my own life experience and that I deal with depression and stuff like that. So I felt like I was good at it, so I just stayed in that lane as much as I could while in uniform. And then when I retired, medically retired, I made it my goal to come back to the military and work my position now. So it's like my dream job. But in the meantime, it was a good 3.5 years between me retiring and me getting the job. I started doing advocacy for suicide prevention, mental health in the Black and brown community, anti-bullying campaign for kids, things like that, right? So I very much became an advocate for the community, not just the military. That makes sense.
That's appreciated. That's greatly appreciated. In your work, in your line of work, and the time that you've been doing it, what do you say are some of the most common misconceptions about mental health? And what do you feel like you do in your work to combat those things, those stigmas? You know the stigmas, like Black and brown people we don't go to therapy.
Yeah. Well, you can't. Yeah, so the stigmas associated with it, I mean, they're vast, right? And it depends on the areas you're in. You got the big ones, the men don't feel, men think. It's a sign of weakness if you cry or you're a sissy or whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a stigma that plagues everyone, right? So it's not just men affected by that, because if you're a woman and you come up in an environment where the stigma or the thought is that if you feel more than you think, you are unstable or whatever it is, right? That can impact a woman's life in the sense that, well, if I'm trying to get ahead in whatever field I'm in whatever professional field I'm in, I don't want to be looked at as some sort of unstable person or emotional person. I want to be a thinker. So now I got to fall back and suppress my feelings, suppress my emotions to fit into a society that is man-driven, right? Yeah. But that's all BS, right? Because as human beings, we have a primal need for interpersonal relationship, right? We need each other, like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So when we try to act tough and act like I don't need no one, I can pull myself up by my bootstraps and all the other stuff. Yeah, that's cool. Be a resilient person.
Yes, be resilient.
But understand also, you might need help sometimes. You might need a hug sometimes. You might need a friend that is gonna sit down and just let you vent and cry or be mad. Kind of like how what's my man's name? Ricky's dad, when he came home, right? He was just swinging his little arms around. You remember that shit? Like he was all pissed off.
That was heavy.
That's a moment. Right. His dad let him have it. You know what I'm saying? Then he held him. Yeah. I mean, again, it's a pretty good example of how emotional beings we are. Like we you know, either we express it or we suppress it. Ain't no in between. You know
so at some point, you have to deal with it.
Oh, it'll come out.
It'll come out.
It'll come
out. So what is your best advice with that? Like, how do you combat that on a personal level and as far as work? Because I know your approach is different, you know, with it. But how do you deal with it? How do you approach it?
I show up authentically.
Show up authentically.
You know what I'm saying? I think I work all day, every day. In the sense that, you know, I can go to my 9 to 5 and teach a class and give you bullet points and give you, you know, stats and all the other stuff. But the reality of it is, I make a difference when I go to the gym or, you know, when I go play basketball. And the way I approach conversations centered around mental health in those spaces is where you affect change the most, right? You fight stigma in those spaces. When my homeboys, you know, when they're going through something tough or, you know, and they want to act like, oh, God, it's no big deal. And I pull them aside, yo, bro, I get it. But if you got to talk, I'm here. I'm not saying you don't have to, but you know what I mean? So I talk about that. I talk about my therapist. Last time I saw you, I was speaking about my therapist and bigging her up. Like, I talk about the therapist like people talk about going to the dispensary. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that normal for me?
I do both. I do both.
Respect. But you know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. It's just a part of my life. It's part of my self-care. So I speak, you know, I speak my truth, you know what I'm saying, to help people see that, yo, you can call me weak if you want to, but you know better, you know what I'm saying?
The truth is, for real.
Right, so people that know me know.
So you say, I hear you say, like, if you have like a homeboy or somebody that you need to pull up, like, could you discuss with me, like, let's have the conversation about how important those open conversations are, you know what I mean? And like, when you're having people say things that could lead you to think, because I think we've all experienced it.
Okay.
I think we've all experienced it. Like, how can you discuss or just share what you think about is important about having those open conversations around mental health with the ones that you love?
Okay. So before you even dive into those conversations, right, you got to have a pretty good self-awareness, right?
Okay.
Of where you are in your own life journey.
You got to be in therapy.
Well, either that, but just know, like, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and a lot of us do that, especially, you know, societal-wise, right? Society-wise, as men, for example, it's my job to provide, it's my job to protect, it's my job to show up for other people. So when I take my responsibility as my job, it's a priority, I can a lot of times use that, right? Use that excuse to not take care of myself, right? So, you need me to show up? Yeah, I got you, I'll be there. But I woke up this morning and I'm not feeling very well. I should cancel on you because I got to protect myself, right? You know what I'm not saying that's what's happening now, but.
Right. Oh, wait, thank you. Thank you for that.
But just an example though, like people do that a lot, right? So understand your boundaries. Then understand the role you play in that person's life, right? So whoever you're having a conversation with, depending on who it is, you're gonna show up in a different way. Let me see if I can make sense of that. If I'm talking to my kids, for example, I'm gonna show up as a protector. So
so depending on the relationship.
If it's one of my soldiers, for example, I'm gonna show up as a leader, right? If it's one of my friends, I'm gonna show up as a friend, right? So the conversation, the level of transparency, is gonna the notes and the tone is gonna be a little different, but you still gotta show up authentically. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta show up in a way that the person receives the information you might want to be giving them, but also that they feel like you care, right? If I'm talking to you right now and I'm over here checking my phone and you telling me a story that's life or death to you, and I'm over here, I'll be all right. I've been through that shit. I make it about me, right?
You're not really listening. Not active listening.
Nah, not at all. So that's the biggest thing. I think it's important for us to create spaces for people to feel comfortable talking to us. it's also important for us to create boundaries, right? To protect ourselves and not take in more than we can give, right? So one of my really good friends, man, she put me onto this a long time ago. And I noticed that every time she would come to me with a problem, she would ask me beforehand, do you have the emotional space for this conversation?
Yes. Oh my gosh. That's
Yo,
so
and I respect that shit like a motherfucker, you know? Can we cuss in this podcast?
You can say what you want. We're grown.
Well, I know you were going with it, so.
You were grown. We did
know
that and curse.
Gang, you know what I'm saying? But I think it's important for us to be able to understand our boundaries, understand that, yeah, my life is happening, but also their life is happening too. So let me be, you know, let me not take whatever they have going on for granted and make it about me. A lot of people do that. Takers takes and givers give, right?
And I feel like it's crazy important that you take in the fact that somebody is choosing to share that moment with you. Like, they could have called, I'm sure, a number of people. Whether that person would have cared or not is one thing, but I think the fact that somebody has chosen to share that to be vulnerable with you, like, I'm not okay, and I kind of want to end it all. And I've been there, and I'm just like, I really don't know what to say other than the fact that I really don't want you to do that, and I know I'm not the only person that doesn't want you to do that. It would really suck for real if you did that, like, you know. And just the fact that, like, do you remember the last time you were like super stressed out and you just weren't gonna make it? You don't know what you were gonna do, and you made it through. You were probably close to this point or at this point, and you made it through. So like, let's try to give that a shot before you go and do something that can like destroy your whole surrounding.
You don't gotta have answers.
Yeah.
You don't gotta try to figure it out for them. You know, as long as you show up authentically and you create a space for that person to feel seen, heard, understood, appreciated. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit of humanity, man. A little bit of interpersonal love. I mean, I'm just saying though, that's what it really is.
That's what it is. Like, I find myself in different arenas where we talk about like humanism. And when I say we talk about it, it's normally because I'm the one that's bringing it up. Because, you know, I work with kids. I work with kids now. I've been working with kids. I've worked in a jail. I've done all types of things where you can see a person for what they're alleged to do or what they're associated with, but you miss to see the person, even with dealing with people with like different religious backgrounds and different views about how they feel about certain things. It's like, you look at me because of my differences. You look at me because of where I disagree with you. Not right now, Jay. But you forget to look at me like a person. And I think like, I'm so on seeing people as people. Like, it like my loyalty and my love, I realize, I tell my close ones all the time that it's like, it's a gift to others and it's a curse to me, because you can be mean to me and the first thing I'm gonna look at you is like, dag, like I wonder what's hurting you.
What's going on with you,
Versus like, oh, you hurt my feelings, like I'm ready to go off. It takes me some time to get there. It takes me a minute to get offended, because at first I'm like, dang, like, what's going on with him? Like, why is he being so mean to me? Why is she being, they're not normally like that, because I understand there are times where I just lashed out on people because I was struggling. And I didn't mean to, I didn't want to hurt that person. I wasn't right. I wasn't together. I wasn't stable. And so I try to look at it like, wow, this person is probably just going through something. I'm not the friend of like, I ain't heard from so-and-so, she don't bang with me no more. I'd be like, let me call and check up on so-and-so because I ain't heard. Like, and it usually is like, man, I've been going through, I'm so glad you called. Let me ask you this, what would you say to like, specifically the black and or the brown brother that is dealing with suicide ideation? Whether you know them or you don't, like, because I know that there are a lot of people out there. And the reason why I put emphasis on the brother is because it is the most underserved when it comes to mental health. Like, women, we got it, we figured it out. We'll go talk to the lady, especially if it's me keeping our man, we're gonna go talk to the lady. If it's me keeping our kids, we're gonna talk to the lady. But I know it's hard to, and the lady is the therapist, that's what I mean. It's hard to get a young or old black or brown brother to sit there and say, this is what hurt me. This is what bothers me. This is what I feel.
You know, we gotta understand where that comes from, right?
Where does that come from?
Society has told you not to share that, because a lot of people whether it's your parents, whether it's your partners, you know what I'm saying? They weaponize that shit. When you have those moments where you feel weak, when you have those moments of transparency, of communication, of breaking down, a lot of times you get clowned for that shit.
Wow.
Our community does a pretty good job of fucking beating you down. I've been in relationships, right?
Yeah.
Where my partner has looked at me like, damn, you're like a fucking female, straight up. And I'm looking at him like,
not the 6'7" guy.
Word.
Not
you know,
the army
you know
guy.
what I'm saying? But that is though, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm communicative, right? Yeah. So if I see a problem, we're gonna figure it out. I learned that shit through my life journey. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. I'm not, at no point did that shit bother me, except for the fact that I chose this person to be my partner. That's how you look at me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. After you, in the dating process, right, you were like, I wish dudes would be more communicative, I wish dudes would listen more and talk more. And then I give you that, and then, you know, so you're not ready for it, right? So again, after a lot of processing, I don't even blame her for that, because society put her in that space to be like, well, I need a man to do this, that. So you put men in these boxes and set expectations for the same shit that you hate motherfuckers doing to you. It's weird as hell, but you know, it is what it is. What I say to my brothers is, man, if nothing else, look at the other men around you, the OGs, right? Look at. Wow. Turn the TV on. You know what I'm saying? Look at the suicides that are happening out there. Look at the father or the husband that beat their spouse because they're so tired of shit. You know what I mean? You have plenty of examples in your own life. If you sit back and you pay attention, you have uncles, you have neighbors, you have people that guaranteed, all of us, you know what I'm saying, can fall back in their own families and look at somebody that has hurt because they suppress their emotions. You know what I'm saying? When you suppress that shit, it's gonna come out some way or another.
I've always heard if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you.
It'll
Especially
come out.
when you have kids, and maybe we'll have to come sit back down and talk about
childhood
all
trauma
of this on top of parenting, because I feel like it's nothing but a big mirror. I feel like my daughter just walk around with a big mirror. Like every now, she'll peep her head, but it's mostly like, this is where you're messed up at, and if you don't get it fixed, I'm gonna be messed up there too. But we'll do parenting a whole nother.
Well, that's not even parenting. We're talking childhood trauma now.
That is childhood trauma. You
know what I mean? And a lot of us, myself included, carry a lot of that shit around. I just figured this out. I'm 45 years old. And my therapist was like, this is about 3 months ago, she was like, I don't know if you're ready for this part of the conversation, but we're gonna have it today. And she broke down for me how a lot of the issues that I was having now were a direct reflection of shit that I did not deal with, or things that I did to protect myself as a 13-year-old immigrant kid from Dominican Republic coming to the States. And that shit, it fucked me up for a couple of weeks.
I could imagine.
You know what I'm saying? But
I could definitely imagine. Oh my God.
And I work in behavioral health. You know what I mean? I work in the field for however many years. And sometimes it just takes that conversation, that moment of trust in someone to help you see the reality of how so many of us walk around with trauma that's built from our childhood, yo. You know what I'm saying?
It's just a part of, I also consider it to be part of conditioning, and it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I had the whole repressed memory thing, so between that and then normalizing the stuff that I do remember, it was like, that is not okay. Like, but I normalized it, so it was like, oh yeah, this is how you love, this is how you talk to people, this is what men are supposed to do, this is how women are supposed to respond. It's like, yo, for real, none of that is normal. Like, it's to the point where, like, I get back around. Like, I was around my mom and my sister and my dad the other day, and they started spatting at each other. And I was like, I'm not okay. And I was happy that I wasn't okay. Because I had broken that. Like, that's not normal. You don't do that. You don't talk to people like that. You don't treat people like that.
You know what, though? To that, I also say this. Like, first of all, shout out to you for that, right?
Thank you for that.
That self-awareness is key. But I think the hard part is for a lot of people is to acknowledge that, understand that, work towards overcoming those moments of that trauma, while at the same time forgiving your parents or the adults in your life, the people that your community that raised you in an environment that was traumatic for you, because that's the best they could do.
They were doing the best they could.
They were also in survival mode, right? So I think the key is to find that balance into, like, you knowing that, okay, the buck stops here because I got to do better for my children, right? but at the same time, embracing, adoring, loving, and still showing up for your parents in a way that it's not like, well, I hate you, Mom. You fuck me up, Mom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. I'm gonna be a better mom. F you.
Because Mom was surviving too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Dad was surviving too.
Shout out to all the moms, yo. Like straight
and the dads, man.
And the dads that were there.
Again, all that shit that comes from somewhere. You know what I mean?
Like I often say, like the differences that me and my parents have, like, is hard to put a light on that because they did so much for me. Like I grew up very much privileged. And you can see it now that I'm paying my own bills. It's like, what? And everything's expensive now. So it's like double hitting me. So shout out to Mom and Dad for that. Shout out to all the parents. Or like, even like, if you're playing a role of a parent, you know, if you decide that somebody's like stuck with this kid, like, let's be real, we talked about it earlier, and you decide you want to deal with it and you want to volunteer, shout outs to you too, because like, I'd be like, you sure? Every time my daughter cut up, I'd be like, you sure you want to do this? Because this is what it is. This is what it is.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. Let me give you this. Social media is playing such a big role in the pros and the cons of mental health and awareness right now.
Okay.
What would you say are the pros and the cons of having a mental health conversation and social? Like, let me rephrase it. How do you believe social media is affecting mental health, both positively and negatively right now?
I look at social media like I look at TV. You know, at some point, right, when TV first came about, people were freaking out, TV's gonna ruin society, you know what I mean? Like your parents were like, I'm a radio guy, you know what I mean? It's just a reality of, it is what it is. So I don't have, not that I don't have an opinion on it, but I do believe that social media can be detrimental or can impact people in a negative way because it creates this illusion, right? Even, I mean, down to the freaking filters, you know what I mean? Like,
can we talk about it?
That AI, that makes you look different, and you know, it creates an illusion of what you should look like or be like and all the other shit. But you know, the flip side of that is, this is going to be on social media, right? So there's also positive shit on social media. You got to monitor what you feed yourself. I was looking at some article about how they're using AI and TikToks and all that shit in China, for example. The government understands, like, hey man, this is impactful. So let's use it. Let's use it to like teach our kids some shit and apply it to this. And I think they're using AI to like monitor our kids are. How much time they're spending actually studying in school, like amazing stuff, right? So you can use it for positive things, or you can let it, you know, hurt you. I think at some point as adults, you got to make the decision. You can filter, you can control somewhat the algorithms, and you know, I remember one day, I think I was telling you the story before, how I got on Instagram, and I happened to stumble on a Dr. Pimple Popper video, and I don't know, that shit is so nasty, but you can't look away.
You gotta look at it.
But I clicked on one video, and that shit was disgusting. But I guess I stayed there for enough seconds. No, that now every time I look on Instagram, guess what I see?
Pimple popping video.
Pimples, like
that
all
algorithm
shit.
is mad.
You know what I mean? So, but now that I know that, right? When I go to Eric Thomas video, right, the motivational speaker. And I click on it, I'm gonna stay here for a second because I know if I stay here long enough, I'm gonna get more of the same content.
It work for you.
So it is what it is what I'm saying. Like, it's a reality, it's not gonna go away. We just gotta use it and teach our kids and teach our people to understand that social media is a tool for you to feed your soul. So what are you gonna feed it?
And I think that's the danger, because I think it's one of those things that if you don't have intention, you're short. And not having intention is just as bad as having bad intention, because you're throwing yourself out there aimlessly. So, and I say that to say, like, I think social media is great when it comes to sharing information, as close as you can get to real news. I know a lot of us have replaced like real news, who are driven by media teams, who are driven by points and beliefs and sides of whatever line. So just social media, just putting the story out there, you kind of believe what you want. I do think it's great for sharing information. I do think the memes and all that stuff does give us a break, but I do think social media is very dangerous in the sense that people are spending their last dollar to appear a way to convince the person on the other side of the camera they live away so that they can do it and get paid. I think people are being creative with lying about their suffering. I think people are going out of their way to cover up the shit that's really, really bothering them.
Yeah, but
we use social media to do that.
You got to understand also that comes from the fact that a lot of people will get on social media and say, man, I didn't come in to hear that shit. I came in to laugh and have fun, right? So, you know what I mean? Maybe you do want to share. Maybe you do want to, but I know if I post this, people are going to come at me or ignore me or look at me like I'm weak. Again, the stigma associated with it.
That's true.
There's no different. Everything you said, right? Apply everything you said about social media to the American diet.
Wow.
What's the difference? No, you don't gotta do all that, but there's no difference though, right?
No, it's true. It can help you, and it could make you really.
It's all about choices.
Yeah, it's all about choices.
So now.
But I think you gotta have that knowledge. And just like
so you have the knowledge, right? So now.
I have the knowledge.
So now,
and I hate it sometimes.
But I know it becomes, you know you hate it because now it becomes your responsibility.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So
that's
now
it.
what?
That's the truth.
And that's what it is, right? But and you
that's
know,
the truth.
that shit comes with a burden though, because everybody's not gonna listen.
No.
Everybody, you're not.
And
here
then the fact, like, even stepping into like being an entertainer and doing the show and all of the things, like, you have to use social media as a tool, and
because it's your reality.
It's your reality. Like, this is
what it is.
Popping.
It's like television.
Yes, and I hate it because I would rather sometimes not even deal with social media. There's a lot of times I only get on social media because like I have to post. And I'm just like, and it's just me. I'm fresh in the game, so it's just me. But then you're right, like, I'll send somebody like a puppy video. Next thing you know, I'm just saying, looking at cute puppy videos.
Puppies,
like,
all day long,
like little brown babies, like that's all I want to do.
So I'm gonna tell you and your hashtag Ted Lasso. TEDLA. Oh my God. You haven't seen that show?
I think I seen you put it on Facebook. Because you were talking about getting a Ted Lasso mustache or something like that.
It's hard to look at my little baby beard though. It ain't a lot going on here, but it's hard, man. But great show, right? And a lot of inspirational quotes that come from that show. And you do such a little hashtag, you just start popping up in your feed. And again, it's all on what you make, yo. Like you make social media what you want it to be, 100%.
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? So. So you say, okay, you need it for work, and you wish it wasn't there, but if it wasn't there, it'd be something else.
Yeah.
You had to go to the newspaper, it'd be print media, some other shit, or flyers, and now you're on the block handing out flyers for your show. Whatever it is, right? It's always gonna be something. And the thing is, when you talk to your daughter, right? When I talk to my son about social media and how fucked up it is, they don't understand that conversation. That's all they know.
Yeah, they grew up.
That's their reality.
Yeah.
It's the same way we're enjoying the fucking cell phones and the way we're enjoying electricity, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's our reality.
Yeah.
It's our reality. So we just gotta accept it and move with it.
That's true.
Just gotta roll with it, man. You can't fight that shit.
Just roll with it. Make it work for you. That's what I'm trying to do.
Well, make the best of it.
Make the best of it.
Because it is what it is.
Shout out to the puppy videos.
Hey, I hate cat videos. And I know for a fact that my fucking phone is
I heard you say that? So as soon as you
now that's some scary
cat
shit.
Videos.
Now I got a bunch of cat fucking videos. And more pimples. I know it's coming.
So, can you tell us where we can reach you at on social media? Since we're here, I feel like it's prime time. Where can we follow you on social media?
So I'm gonna give you my personal page right here.
Yeah. Give us where you're okay with people reaching out to you about the things you discussed on the show.
Yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram. That's where I spend most of my time on social media.
Okay.
At MigNice_3. No, Mig MIG_nice NICE.
Do you want me to pull it up?
And the number 3. Nah, that's it.
You got it, okay.
It's MigNice3. Or, I got my professional page, which is Miguel.Sierra.speaks.
Because you be doing the thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, what's next with you? Like, I know you're shaking, you closing down contracts and whatever.
Yeah, I got, a little
bought the G5. No, I'm joking. Like, one day.
Fucking G5. Before far from it. I'll be at Daytona State in 2 weeks, speaking to the student athletes there.
Nice.
And then I go back to Daytona State in September for Suicide Prevention Month.
Yeah.
To talk to I got 2 sessions with the students there.
Okay.
I think that's it. That's the only thing I have secure right now, so the only thing I can talk about.
Book him now.
Yeah, well, it gets busy now. They'll come late, like
When you do the week?
Hispanic Heritage Month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I probably go to Old Dominion. They call me every year around this time. ODU, yeah.
In the house.
ODU calls a bunch of different veteran organizations. We're supposed to be doing a conference in Hawaii. It's a diversity and inclusion conference in Hawaii.
Oh wow.
Speaking there. I mean, it's a bunch of little different things, yo. And shout outs to University of South Florida, because they always look out, and I've done a couple of events for them, so.
That's what's up. Well, listen, I want to thank you again for coming to talk to me.
My pleasure.
And, you know, just be kind to people, especially if that person decides that they want to share that moment with you. And if that's something you're dealing with right now, or you know somebody, like, hold the fight and call somebody, let somebody know. We can punch it. You can call me, we can punch and scream together. You ain't even got to tell me your business, but I think it's safe to say we need you around. So I'm Harris on the mic, and that's a wrap. That's it. Yo, you're a beast.
We out.
You're a beast.
Harris on the mic.